All right, guys, let's talk about the couch stretch today. One of the most potent stretches for quadriceps, or more importantly, your two-joint hip flexor, and to some degree, your one-joint hip flexor. Now, your two-joint hip flexor is actually your rectus femoris, which crosses over the kneecap, touching down here on the top of your tibia, all the way up onto your ASIS up here. That's your rectus femoris. Then deep internally, you have your psoas iliacus complex, which is your single-joint hip flexors. Both of these are going to get hit to some degree in this stretch, making it one of the most valuable frontline stretches you can do. So we're going to use the box here. I'm going to place my foot up on top of the box, my knee down. Now, depending on your flexibility, you want to be able to make sure that you're nice and tall when you're in this position, that you can squeeze your glute, which then is going to turn the pelvis posteriorly and give you a nice deep stretch here. So if you're in this position here, you might get a little bit of low stretch down the quad, but you're not getting deep where we want to into both those hip flexors. So we need to make sure the hip is pulled forward and your glute is contracted while you're in here. So you think of staying nice and tall. If you want to get a little deeper into the front fascial line, you can even rise your arm up overhead and you're going to feel that stretch come all the way up through the torso and maybe even into your lat a little bit. So the placement of your knee here is going to be mostly dependent on your flexibility. So you kind of play with this. Over time, you're going to be able to get deeper and deeper into this position, depending on your flexibility or as you progress, to find that stretch. It doesn't really matter, whatever feels best, guys. And you're always chasing good feeling when you're doing these exercises, all right? Okay, now just play around with it when you're in here. So if you sit here into the stretch, it's a very deep, strong stretch. And then as I drop the pelvis back or anteriorly tilt it forward, I lose all of that stretch. So again, you want to find the best position that allows for the deepest stretch. And then over time, pull yourself into this. So we'd hold this for 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, you could do little pulses if you wanted, or you could just static stretchers, just fine, all right? And we'll do this on both sides, but you might find one side much more difficult or much tighter than the other. So what we'd recommend is, let's say my right side's tighter, I'm gonna start on my right side, then do my left, and come back to my right and hit it twice. You don't necessarily have to stretch it equally if you're not equally tight or loose in that position, all right? So this is your couch stretch. Play around with it. One of the simplest and the easiest stretches to do, and you can do it pretty much anywhere because you're going to be able to find a chair or some other apparatus that you can put your back foot up on. Okay, thanks a lot, team.